Real estate is the best investment there is, bar none. But it's also a magnet for fraud and abuse. You need to do your due diligence before investing in anything. I just spent the last hour watching AI do what would have taken a legal team weeks to accomplish. And here's what caught me off guard. I fed it this name of a company that I knew was involved in ongoing fraud litigation, and within minutes it pulled up red flags that most investors would have completely missed. But the thing nobody talks about is that the AI didn't find everything, and that gap between what it can do and what it misses might be the most important lesson for anyone using these tools. Why is real estate such a magnet for fraud? Because there's large sums of money going around. So stock market, pension funds were notorious for mixing it up with the mafia and labor unions. But really, real estate is the biggest purchase most people will ever make. But because there's these huge sums of money flowing back and forth, even a small 1% shift one way or the other nets thousands of dollars in the purchase. So if, say, a rehabber can cover up some sort of interior problem on the property and not repair it, they walk away with $5,000, $10,000 more than they would have otherwise walked away with from the deal. So it's really important to look into these rehabbers. Today, we're going to build a 2-stage AI research system that can vet business partners and catch red flags before you commit to anything. This matters because the wrong partnership can cost you years and tens of thousands of dollars. And most people don't really have the time, the resources, or the know-how to do proper due diligence on their own. First, we're going to use ChatGPT to craft specialized research prompts that know exactly what to look for. Then we're going to feed these prompts into Perplexity's deep research system to pull data from sources that you'd never find on your own. And our reward at the end is going to be a due diligence report more comprehensive than what you would get from a junior analyst, and about 5% of the time it would take to compile by hand. I'm Evan Goldstein. I'm a licensed professional engineer and a data scientist. And I'm building the AI Capitalist R&D channel to give you the AI tools that you need to conquer the world. Now, I've been involved in a few real estate scams myself, on the receiving end, of course, not the perpetrator, but I've seen what happens. And I do have to say that even for the most morally onerous and problematic individuals I've worked with, in the end, because real estate tends to appreciate in value and rents keep going up, the appreciation covers pretty much for any mistakes you make, as long as it's not a huge one. The 2 cases I've been involved in did involve police knocking down doors, secret cameras, arrests, and trials, criminal trials. So it's not like this doesn't happen, and I know I'm not immune. Now, these purchases that I made were before AI was a thing and before deep research was a capability. So today we're going to experiment and see how we can use these tools to protect ourselves and make wise investment decisions. I need you to help me create a prompt for a deep research agent. This agent is going to search for turnkey providers, that is, companies that network with rehabbers and property managers to produce single-family homes and then sell those to investors and turn them over to management companies to get them rented. For each one of these, you should search social media and get a little bit of an idea of the reputation of each company that you're recommending. Come up with a list of 5 of your best suppliers. All right, so I just transcribed that, and I'm going to have ChatGPT write me a prompt. One more thing. You should always tell ChatGPT to think hard about your answer, that last sentence there, because ChatGPT 5 looks at your prompt and it selects which model it's going to use, one of the simple ones or one of the more complicated and expensive to use ones. When you tell it to think hard about its answer, that directs it to use the more advanced models, which will get you a more thorough and a better answer. We have ChatGPT's output now, much more thorough than what I had told it to do, obviously, which is what we wanted. Find and vet and rank single-family rental providers, describes what they are, prioritize US-based, very good, verifiable activity, listings, deals, clients in the last 36 months, good, gives it some keyword searches, some patterns, develops a ranking system, tells it how to go about the search. It says start by getting 15 providers and then narrow it down to 5. Okay, we're going to take this. We are going to go to Perplexity. Then we're going to paste the prompt in and give it a deep research command. one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set sources for my search so I can turn on social and finance, and it'll give it more areas to search through. And you really want that social because that's where you're going to find people chatting about this in X or Twitter, and it's going to be able to gather more nuanced information about people's personal experiences. And we're off to the races. What we're really doing here is we're trying to vet the bad apples. I didn't want to do this all in one prompt because I need the AI to have the space, the thinking space, the budget, the tokens to go through and really do a thorough search. So that previous prompt is still running right now while I'm doing the Perplexity doing its deep research to find me turnkey real estate providers. We just made a prompt that's now finding us a series of turnkey real estate providers. What I intend to do is take one provider from that prompt, and then for each one of these, I need you, ChatGPT, to develop a new prompt for me that's going to do a much deeper research on each of these providers. It's going to provide me with their reputation. I need you to also look up their criminal history of anyone working for the company. Find the company name, research all the principals in that company, and then look at each of them and do they have any publicly available information indicating any wrongdoing, fraud, problems like that. I then need you to search through discussion groups and see how the reputation of the company fared. Were there customers saying that there was some level of fraud or wrongdoing? So I need you to write that prompt for me that I can then plug into a deep research agent. Okay, so I've got the prompt transcribed, hit go, and now this is going to make a much more elaborate prompt. It knows what we're doing. We're taking a second stage deep dive prompt. Interestingly, it actually provides, it will customize it. So I'm going to customize. Yes, I want you to customize this for Perplexity's deep research or Perplexity's pro search. Now it's creating a comprehensive, verifiable due diligence investigation, company background, legal, criminal, regulatory history, reputation, community sentiment. Meanwhile, Perplexity is finished. Give me the top 5 turnkey single-family providers. Okay, I'm going to research these guys, the Martel turnkey. So I'm going to take this prompt I just developed. I'm going to open a new Perplexity window. Here we go. Going to do a deep search. I'm going to turn on social and finance. Researching this company. Here are your research instructions. Take this prompt I developed here. Okay, I copied it here. Just going to paste it here and set it on its merry way. Okay, so we have the outputs here, and it's gone through it, figured out who the founders of the company were. It's checking for criminal records, no no charges. BBB status, not accredited, but Premier PM subsidiary has an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. That's important. So there were some negative concerns about responsiveness. Then we run through the red flags. Mostly this focuses around their marketing, unverified return claims. And there were some complaints about the quality or low quality of the rehab work. They have a long operating history, 8 years. That's long operating history? I don't think so. But there have been no major legal or regulatory issues, PM performance, transparent pricing. So they're getting upper middle of the road reviews here based on the assessment metric that we've developed in our prompt. Okay, that's just an example how the prompt worked. Now, as I've said earlier, I've been involved in some major fraudulent cases. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use that as a sort of a test for this prompt that we've developed and for Perplexity's ability to do your due diligence work, or some of it at least. There are still some legal proceedings going on. It's in the middle of the case, so I don't want to mention this person by name, and I don't want to mention the company by name. I'm going to give you the name of a company I need you to do due diligence on, as well as the name of an individual within that company. I need you to do some research on it, but for liability reasons, I don't want you to output the actual name of the person or of the company in your output. Be more general about it while still giving me the proper diligence and vetting I would expect. All right, I've entered that information on a case I know is ongoing, and I've told it specifically not to mention by name the individual or the company. And then I've used this prompt that we developed to do the diligence. And so we're going to see how good is Perplexity at this business. And here we see we have a Better Business Bureau rating of a C-, which is not great. Lots of red flags, gives it a 4 out of 10 rating based on the metric that we developed in our earlier prompt. Do some deeper research. Figure out who all of the principals and anyone working for the company. Try to find as many names as you can through researching on LinkedIn or through the website or wherever, or public records, and then look at their public records and see if any of them has a criminal history or any sort of proceedings or allegations of fraud, waste, or abuse. All right. It came back with the answer. It has 4 complaints with the Better Business Bureau. This operator presents moderate to elevated due diligence risk. The C- BBB rating, tenant service complaints, and minimal independent investor track record prevent strong recommendation. So they found an entrepreneurial background and they found positive investor reference. What's interesting is that it didn't find legal proceedings. There is a legal proceeding going on in this case, so it was not able to locate that in its search. There was some criminal history with one of the individuals associated with the company in question, and that was also not shown here. So Perplexity is good at the general, looking at public records like Better Business Bureau, etc. It's not as good at finding actual references to specific problems or specific cases in the legal system. Now, just for fun, I'm going to try Claude. I'm going to make it a research project within Claude and see if Claude has better luck. I spent quite a bit longer working on this, but it didn't seem to actually have much of a difference. After conducting extensive research across federal and state court databases, no verifiable criminal charges, civil lawsuits, SEC enforcement actions, or major regulatory sanctions were found against the company or its principals as of November 4th, 2025. Yet I know that there are. What's interesting is the complete absence of records here. No allegations of fraud, investor misconduct, misrepresentation, or unethical practices were found. Hey, that's happening right now. I'm on the email chain. Just very scant records. I guess the key thing here is if there are no records, consider that a bad record. Okay, what do we learn about AI today? Number 1, AI can execute multi-stage research workflows that can compress weeks of work into hours. Prompt engineering isn't just about asking questions. It's about building systems that chain tools together strategically. We learned that current AI tools excel at aggregating public data sources like the Better Business Bureau ratings and social media sentiment, but they struggle with the deeper legal research in the criminal records. The quality of your output depends entirely on how well you structure your research process up front. We learned that AI works best when you give it clear frameworks and metrics to evaluate against. So what's different now compared to 6 months ago? AI can actually now maintain context across a lot of different research phases. It's remembering that we're vetting turnkey real estate providers, it's applying our custom evaluation metrics, and it's doing it consistently. And it's adapting its research strategy when we ask it to dig deeper into specific concerns. It's reading through discussion forums and cross-referencing names with public records, and then it's synthesizing all of that into a risk assessment. Now, that kind of sustained and goal-oriented research with context retention just wasn't there before. While this example focuses on real estate investing and facilities development, these exact capabilities translate directly into other fields. So in healthcare, you could use the same framework to vet medical equipment suppliers, or in legal practice, you could research opposing counsel or expert witnesses, and then you can chain together searches of bar disciplinary records or case histories. The pattern is the same, with structured prompts that tell AI where to look and what red flags matter in your specific context. So if you're thinking about how to apply these AI techniques to your specific business challenges, I do consulting work in the AI business space. Head on over to aicapitalist.biz and I can help you build custom workflows that are even more tailored to your industry and the exact problems that you're trying to solve. Tools we covered today are just the starting point.